Hey everyone, Beardo here. For those of you guys who have been kind of mainstays of my channel, you'll have seen probably at least one video where I have talked about Half Price Books. Half Price Books is this fantastic chain of used bookstores in the Midwest. I don't think they're outside of the Midwest. You definitely won't find them overseas if you live overseas. However, if you do live in the Midwest, I recommend you check them out. They have, in addition to used books, they basically buy and sell any kind of used media. So you can get DVDs, Blu-rays, CDs, records, video games, and most importantly, you can get comic books. Now, the thing that's great about Half Price Books is it's half price. In other words, it only really applies to their softbacks. All their softback books are half price, off the cover price. However, their comic books are really not very expensive either. And you can get some pretty great stuff pretty inexpensively there. I try and go at least once a month or once every other month. There's about 3 different Half Price Books in my area, and I'm always stopping at one of them to see if they've got some new stuff, and I always find something. I've always been someone who's kind of shied away from doing haul videos, just because, like, you know, not that I don't enjoy haul videos, and I watch your guys' haul videos 9 times out of 10, but sometimes it's like, you know, if you're just picking up Joe Schmo, whatever, like, it's not as exciting. So I kind of try and save it for the special occasions, and I have to say, this haul that I got at Half Price Books yesterday is that special occasion, and I'm really excited to share this with you guys. As you can see, I got a pretty big stack of books. It was really hard. I left without a lot of stuff. Like, I could have gotten easily double the number of books that I did, but I had to stop somewhere. But the price I got these books at were just ridiculous, and you're not going to believe when you see some of the stuff I picked up. So, without further ado, this is my haul video for my Half Price Books trip yesterday. Okay, so I've ordered these books sort of from like the least exciting to the most exciting. So the first couple of books may not be as enticing, but as we get down there, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about when I could say exciting books. So first up, we have Action Comics number 11. Yeah, I picked this up because it was $1. I collected, I think, the first 10 issues of the Grant Morrison run, and I just couldn't do it anymore, especially with the $3.99 price tag. It just wasn't worth it to me. However, I was kind of curious just to see how things kind of turned out, and I thought, well, if it ever shows up at Half Price Books, I'll pick it up. It did. I nabbed it. So I got issues 11, and I also got issue 12. I left off right when he had, like, decided to give up his identity. Like, he killed off Clark Kent so he could be Superman full-time or something or other. So anyway, here's a couple issues in that run. Only a few more left that I need, and I'll finish reading through those. Every book here, by the way, is $1. Next, I kind of filled out some of the Green Lantern books I was missing from the 90s. Nothing too particularly exciting here, but I personally was excited because I've been missing these books for a while. Green Lantern 52. This is right around the time that Kyle Rayner became Green Lantern, which is obviously him here, and Mongol. I think it was Mongol. Put his, or no, it was Major Force, put his girlfriend in a refrigerator. A famous incident of feminism in comics, or the feminist debate in comics, or what have you, referenced often. This is a 0 Hour tie-in. I actually really dig these 0 Hour issues. I think that probably when they were coming out at the time, everyone was just like, what a waste. But I think that they're actually pretty fun because you get to see multiple different versions of the characters kind of battling it out, or encountering each other in some way. And the thing that's great about it is a lot of times they won't get along. There was an issue of Superman, I think it was an issue of Superman that had a whole bunch of different Batmans in it. He's like trying to get Batman's attention, and he keeps running into like Neil Adams Batman and Frank Miller Batman, and even like the Batman from the animated cartoon, like Bruce Timm's Batman. And the thing that was great was like none of the Batmans like really got along because, you know, they're all different characters really at heart. So I'm actually pretty excited to read this 0 Hour tie-in. Only about 20 years later, but whatever. Also, Green Lantern Zero. This one, actually, I don't really care a whole lot about, but I picked it up because I needed it. Also, we have issue 57 and 59. And I think that pretty much wraps up my Kyle Rayner Green Lantern books. I think I've got almost that entire run now. Next up, we get into the more exciting books. So every other book from here on out costs $2 a piece, which was really exciting. Like, I was very, very proud of this little haul here. So first up, we have some Charlton comics. Space 1999. This is some very early John Byrne. You can see his signature on the cover here. He also did the interior artwork on this. This is issue number 3. I also grabbed issue number 4, issue number 5, and then finally issue number 6. Now, what could be more exciting than John Byrne? Well, let me tell you, it would be even more John Byrne and even more Charlton Comics. Now, for those of you guys who don't know what Charlton Comics is the original publisher of, well, I guess they weren't technically, they owned the rights to Blue Beetle. I think Blue Beetle may have been created elsewhere, and then when it Blue Beetle made his comeback in the Silver Age, he was bought out by Charlton Comics at that point. Also Captain Atom and The Question, all Charlton superheroes. DC bought them out in the 80s. This is Doomsday +1. This is a book I'm really excited about. This is issue number 1. You can see the Jack Kirby sort of commandy influence on this cover. But the reason why I was really excited about this book is you cannot get a copy of this in good condition. I have tried. Like, every time I see it, it's always just in the worst shape. They're always just like in rotten condition. The only problem with this book is when they stapled it. I don't know if it'll show up on film. I don't think it actually will. But they stapled, like, the staples are inside. Actually, you can see that one pretty well. They stapled on the inside. You know, it's not lined up appropriately, but it is the original staple, and they're not really rusty or anything. They're just not lined up right. So still not a perfect book, but I was really excited to see this in as good a condition as it is. I just never find them in good condition. I also grabbed issue number 2, and then there was a little jump, and we jumped up to issue number 7. Now, issue number 7 is, you'll notice, familiar. That's because this is actually, I'm pretty sure, a reprint of issue number 1. And this might be the first book that was written and drawn by John Byrne. I'm not 100% sure on that. Someone will have to correct me if I'm wrong there. This book, the next couple copies, next couple issues aren't in as quite a good a condition. You can see this one's got a little bit of a little stamp on there. This is number 8. Then we have number 9, number 10, and finally number 11. Awesome stuff. All right, and now the last 2 books, I kind of saved the best for last. Runner-up to the comic book I was most excited about, and I've never actually heard of this series before, but another Charlton book. This is The Many Ghosts of Dr. Graves. This is like an anthology book. I'm pretty sure that this is kind of like a House of Mystery ripoff, but a lot of Steve Ditko work in here, so I was pretty excited about that. And then the book I was most excited for is one I've kind of had my eye out for a while, but I've never picked up because I haven't really seen an inexpensive copy that was worth picking up, which is Charlton Bullseye number 1, which is basically like a Brave and the Bold kind of a thing, except it's Charlton superheroes, in this case, Blue Beetle and The Question. I'm sure most of you guys know this, but for those of you guys who are sort of newer to comics and watch some of these videos, these are the characters that the Watchmen characters were based on. Basically, when DC got the rights to the Charlton characters, including Blue Beetle and The Question, they sort of handed the property over to Alan Moore and said, you know, do something with this. And he came up with Watchmen, and they said, you know, we're never going to be able to use these characters again if you do this, so let's rename them as something else. And so that's kind of how Watchmen was born. But Rorschach is an obvious reference to The Question. Blue Beetle basically is like Night Owl. And Captain Atom is Dr. Manhattan, which he's not in here, but he is. Anyway, the thing that's kind of fun about this book, too, is this is a kind of a fun pairing just because The Question actually first appeared in a Blue Beetle book, Blue Beetle number 1, I think, but it would have been like the 3rd or 4th volume of Blue Beetle because it wasn't the Golden Age. It was actually, would have been Ted Kord's first solo series because Ted Kord wasn't the original Blue Beetle. So there were like a couple series with someone else. I don't even know who he is. Ted Kord's always kind of been my favorite Blue Beetle. And then we had Ted Kord and kind of the new suit, or the Silver Age suit. And then when Ted Kord got his own series, the Question was the B story on it. And that only lasted for, I think, a few issues, actually. So that's why if you want a lot of Question, the Steve Ditko Question character, you actually have to go to, like, I think it's Mysterious Suspense #1 to get basically all his runner-up Question stories, because they canceled the book. I think, hopefully I'm not totally lying to you guys, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Anyway, so Charlton Bullseye #1, featuring the Question, the Blue Beetle. Really excited to read this book. I'm actually really big fans of the Question and Blue Beetle. They're kind of my two favorite Charlton characters. And here they are in one awesome, awesome book. So there you go. That's my haul. Hope you guys enjoyed. I was really pumped to find all these books for just $2 a piece. If anybody is super savvy with Charlton books, I do have a question for you. Please leave a comment below if you know. This has the American price and the UK price on it. I think all of them have that. Does that mean that these are UK books, or are these American books? Doesn't really matter to me. I'm just really excited to have them. And even if they're like UK books and they're not as valuable or whatever, like for $2 a piece, it's still a steal. So I'm really excited about that. But if anybody knows, I would like to know the answer, because I'm not sure if they were always printed like that or what the deal is there. Anyway, so there you go. Charlton Comics up the wazoo. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks. Bye.